There are two types of van life influencers in this world. Or there are two types of van lifers in this world. We have the true hardcore van lifer. So these are the van lifers who you never actually meet on the internet. There's a lot of them out there, and I've met a few of them. No YouTube, no social media, not really anything that hints at them living in a van. Some of them are travellers, gypsies, and some of them are just lost in the wind of life and have ended up in a van, whether out of despair or not. And then you get the van life influencer. It's a pretty girl who's all made up and all clad up, living in a very pretty van that looks amazing and looks so good, and doing photo shoots with people and explaining how cool van life is and why she's living her best life. The reality is you get two types of van lifers, and I'll call them a character actually, two characters. So you got van life A, who's Rory, or Raj, for example, and then you got van life Rory, or maybe not Raj. I'll use a tougher example, but I'm going to call van life, the true van life, I'm going to call him Rory, and I'm going to call the van life influencer Riley. So Rory and Riley, right? So the day for Rory is Rory's a full-time van lifer, right? So he is living in his van full-time. He's going through the winter, braving the harsh winters. He's living in a place where there's no one to call. There's no family, friends nearby. He is simply surviving, and he doesn't know anyone around there. Bar a few odd people he's met along the route, along his journeys. But he's able to make a self-sustaining life. He doesn't have all the money in the world. He's saving. He's trying to do a few jobs to make ends meet. But he's living in a van. He's not big on socials. He probably some of them have never touched it, so he might have never even touched social media. And he doesn't know anyone else who lives in a van apart from him, at least in his initial circle before he explained his story. That's the story of Rory, right? And then you got Riley. Riley's not a true full-timer. He doesn't live full-time in the van. But what's happened is he's managed to get some money and invest it into a van while he has a normal, affiliate marketer job. And he's making quite a bit of buck from the social media. He's got a few sponsorships and brands. He uses the van as a studio more than an actual living space, but portrays it as a place where he lives. It's very pristine, but of course it would be when it's sponsored and it's got sponsorships. And it looks really nice. But in reality, it's a lot of filming, and it's basically it's become an acting job, an influencer job, because it's a watered down image of what van life actually is. You've got to remember with Rory and Riley, they've gone through two different struggles, but Rory's got his own physical struggle and his own personal struggles. Rory didn't go into van life with all the knowledge in hand, all the toolkits in hand. He had a few people helping him out here and there, but he survived the winters. He's gone through the diesel heater. He's built his van in a way as he's on the road because he doesn't have a home. So he's managed to get a bed, but he didn't always have a bed. He's had a few things in there that he didn't always have. He remember the day he might have had not eating and a bit of propane just burning out and running out for the night that wasn't keeping him warm enough, so he had wore 4 or 5 layers. I know a lady who didn't even have power to keep her warm, so she was drinking whiskey to keep her warm. And this is one of the most struggling stories even to say about some people. I haven't even had it that difficult, but there's people out there who you'll never know about. There's groups out there in the UK who again has just said, oh, we'll keep things as low-key as possible, but you will never know these people because they truly escaped the system, which means they've escaped social media. They're not digital. You don't know them unless you know the right people to talk to. This is like a secret club of van lifers out there who you will never meet unless you know the right people. And these are people who are actually van life, who are actually living off the grid, growing their own food, homesteading. in little discrete communities in the UK and living the van life. So please, if you're ever watching a lot of these videos on YouTube, just know that there's two types and don't get carried away with what you see. I've written a book, and I try and explain it as it is. 24 Alone on the Road by me on van life. It's not a watered down version. It's quite brutal at times. It explains how I felt. It explains the scenarios I went through. But I would never change it for anything. This is me. I feel like I'm living when I'm out on the roads. I'm out in the countryside. And I enjoy it, despite everything. Right now it's comforting to know that I've got a place to stay wherever I go in the UK. But that's an advantage, and it's come a long way to get it there. That's what's helped build me as a man, and be proud of the fact that I am a young lad who's navigating his way in life just like I'm navigating these roads in the UK. Thank you so much for watching. This is another little video from the front seat this time, because it's 4 AM. I've had to fill up the heating because my heating's run low, so I woke up absolutely freezing, but here's what it is. It's not the end of the world. I've got the heat back on, I've got it running. I need to chop up some food because I'm out. But yeah, thought I'd do a little video, as always. Till next time.